Hey guys, King of Charmans here. Today I'll be a judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today we are analyzing my top 3 teams for Open Master League. Now, Open Master League, like Open Ultra League's meta, doesn't change too much. Literally the last time... Oh wait, by the way, before I go to the screen, be sure to contribute at pvpoke.com using this tab. But as I was saying, Open Master League, unlike Open Great League, it doesn't really change too much. It's like, you know, a tape recording. You play it over and over again. That's pretty much Open Master League. But, well, not Open Master League Classic. So, Master League Classic, it doesn't really change too much, and the good thing about it is that a lot of the mons you power it are probably still really good. So, with that being said, again, the meta doesn't really change too much for Master League Classic. The last time it flipped on its head is Yveltal. And as powerful as Yveltal is, there's still plenty of options out there that can replace it, or old combinations that can still be used that are still really, really good. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so for team number 1, I have Groudon, well, it's actually triple. Groudon, Lugia, Palkia. Lugia is going to be your safe switch, but this is triple Dragon Tail. A triple Dragon Tail team literally made it to the top. Literally, this team is one of the top teams, and it was over, I believe, a 540 rating. So when I tried it out, I figured out that this team is actually really, really good for the several, well, actually, I knew this already, but basically with the game's fast move mechanics being so broken right now, any Dragon Tail that goes through does heavy damage and gives a good amount of energy for your charge move. Dragon Tail also hits a lot of things for neutral damage unless you're going against Melmetal, and because you're using Groudon has a really good chance against Melmetal, and Palkia does have Aqua Tail and Draco Meteor, so hits Melmetal very, very hard. That's why triple Dragon Tail really works. Unfortunately, Great League has a moniker, or basically stigma of Tap Tap, and this will vigorously tap your opponent down to victory, as if we didn't need enough Tap Tap. But Dragon Tail, if you do like Tap Tap, as you see here, Groudon, Lugia, and Palkia is a triple Tap Tap Dragon Tail team. This team is excessively powerful, amazing coverage, bulk, and safety. And it has good consistency. Honestly, I know this is graded B, but I would grade it as an A. I would say it's amazing just because of the fact that, like I mentioned, with fast move mechanics being broken, you're going to get a lot of extra Dragon Tails through charge moves. Also, all 3 of these mons, with the exception of Lugia, I would say, just because you don't really have anything else other than flying, has either a non-resisted type attack, and they are very low energy. Aqua Tail and Fire Punch are very low energy for Palkia and Groudon. Because of that, they are going to smack the crap out of every Melmetal in existence. Or basically, there's a whole lot of win conditions you can make. I would say if you want to avoid lag, this is probably the best team to use, ironically, just because you are tapping your way to victory. So, if you're trying to manage energy or anything like that, in a really, really, like, in anywhere minus, like, 2 turns, it's not that hard with this team. As you see here, this team does really well against a lot of different combinations. Yes, Dialga does Dialga doesn't resist Dragon Tail, but Groudon does beat Dialga with Dragon Tail or Mudshot. At the same time, even with Metagross, it's not a bad matchup against Metagross, because Metagross has a lot of pressure on it, because Metagross has to shield an Earthquake. So in the 2-shield scenario, Metagross is not that great against Groudon, even with Dragon Tail, just because one Earthquake will literally shatter you from the face of existence. But as you see, overall, the reason why this team has an A for coverage is because it does really well against a lot of overall meta. Again, Dragon Tail is so overpowered because you're gonna be able to get some extra Dragon Tails through charge moves, and it charges a good amount of energy to where it's going to do a lot of damage over time. Definitely recommend. I normally don't recommend Tap teams, but this team has an incredibly low threat score, and like I mentioned, it gives you the best chance to avoid lag. But this is team number 2. If you do like using Mega Meta, well, there's nothing wrong with Mega Meta. Basically, Open Master League is all Mega Meta, or not Open Master. Master League Classic is all basically all Mega Meta. Legendaries dominate and rule this town. I anti-meta the crap out of it. My anti-meta team still works, but as you see here, that doesn't deny the fact that these legendaries or mythicals for Master League Classic are really that powerful. As you see here, we have the old school ABA team of Dialga, Groudon, and Melmetal. This team actually works incredibly well still, just because Dialga is still a beast, and because of Melmetal's moveset, you can really just run through a lot of things. Melmetal is incredibly powerful in Open Master League, and that still hasn't changed since the preseason. Of course, when Groudon got fire, for those of you that don't know, little history lesson, the big ground dinosaur got Fire Punch not too long ago. All it really needed was a bait move, and Fire Punch made it literally the most powerful Open Ultra League Mon for the longest time. It still is an incredibly powerful mon, just putting that out there. But as you see, Groudon is still insanely powerful, especially with the fact that it does have Dragon Tail. So with this team, you do have Groudon as a safe switch. You can Groudon safe switch or Melmetal safe switch. Either one works. Groudon mostly, I would say, is a safe switch because Groudon in previous seasons for Master League. The reason why I get this mixed up so much is just because Open Master League, before XLs came out, used to be Master League Classic. So I have to get the wording right. Still haven't got it right to this day because you could tell I just don't play Open Master League a lot. I do play Master League Classic though. So as you see here, this team does have great coverage, safety, and consistency. Amazing amount of bulk, literally just because you have 3 of the most powerful ultra super meta Pokemon on this team. Of course, with having 2 steel type Pokemon, you are weak to ground type, so be careful of those Groudons, etc. You can still choose to bully your way through Groudon with Dialga, essentially set Groudon in your Dialga in a lead, and try to farm down with Groudon and close out the match. That's a strat you can do. I've seen it used as well, but it really just depends because Groudon with Mudshot doesn't have a great matchup against Dragon Tail Groudon, just because Dragon Tail Groudon does so much damage. So just keep that in mind. Be really careful depending on which Groudon you are actually facing. But this team still did incredibly well through practice. I still got a lot of dubs with this team. I think old school is still really good, and this old school team, if you have them already built, you probably won't have to spend a lot of dust on it, especially because Dialga recently came out in raids again. So, if you like Dialga, if you like double steel, this team is for you, and it does really, really well against a lot of combinations still. Evoltal can give you a problem, but the thing about Evoltal still isn't a great thing with this team because Evoltal actually loses against Dialga in the 2 shield. So, in the 2 shield, Evoltal will lose. Dialga does have some concern when it comes to Landorus and the Therian forms, just because you can get Focus Blasted to death. However, the thing is, they can't straight Focus Blast you, so Dialga still has a very powerful lead against a lot of multiple combinations. With the exception of Groudon and Garchomp. Be very careful because Groudon and Garchomp can give you an insanely hard time. Just because of the fact that they can bait you with Sand Tomb and Earthquake you to death. So just be very careful with Groudon and Garchomp. Groudon mostly because Garchomp does lose to Dialga pretty convincingly in a 2 shield, but that doesn't mean someone crazy out there won't stay in and try to Earthquake you to death. 6'9", 420 Earthquake magnitudes are very, very powerful and very dangerous. I should know. I live in California. So, actually, no, in California, we kind of just like, we're just like, oh, that was an earthquake? Okay, whatever. So, we're very nonchalant when it comes to natural disasters. At least those that rise from the ground. So, I guess you could say it's not very effective or it doesn't affect us at all. So, basically, I'm trying to say, like, California has earthquakes all the time, and really, you don't care because of the frequency. Until the big one happens, then we're all screwed. Anyways, as you see, this team does have a high threat score just because of that ground type existence, that weakness there. And of course, if you get trapped against Kyogre, Groudon does go down. So just be very mindful of that. But it's still an incredibly powerful team, despite having a high threat score. And for my last team, well, it's kind of really generic, but this team is Excadrill, Mewtwo, Yveltal. I was trying to look out for some things that really didn't have legendaries, and Excadrill's basically because Drill Run got buffed, Excadrill with Mudshot became really powerful. As you see here, Excadrill lead, Mewtwo Safe Switch, and Yveltal to close out. I popularized the Mewtwo Focus Blast strat. Back then it said Shadow Ball and Side Strike was the best one, but I changed everyone's mind. Well, I was the original blasting through shields, and then I just started blasting. For those of you that know that scene, we can be best friends. Anyways, as you see here, it is Mewtwo Safe Switch, and actually you got double blast because Yveltal has blast as well. Yveltal can close out against the steel types, which makes it incredibly powerful. and it also is really great against things like Mewtwo. So Yveltal is a very powerful mon and really shook up Open Master League. As you see here, not a lot of bulk just because of Yveltal. Yveltal unfortunately isn't super bulky, but it does a lot of damage, which is why it's able to take out Melmetal and Yveltal if you manage to blast through shields. You summon the Spirit Bomb, you take all the energy of all the poor Pokemon around you, and then you blast the crap out of your opponent, and that's GG's. Anyways, as you see here, it still does have great coverage, safety, and like I mentioned, because you can blast everything, has amazing amounts of damage. The only thing you have to really be careful here of is that basically Excadrill can be very prone to losing. Basically, you're gonna have to really know how to go around losing lead, because Excadrill doesn't do well against Kyogre. Excadrill also gets punched to death by Machamp. If you happen to see Machamp leads, you can still see those in Master League Classic, because some people just can't afford, or just rather, Machamp is still really good in Master League Classic. I faced a few last season, I should know. As you see here, Excadrill, basically anything Excadrill is weak to. Groudon is also insanely popular. Melmetal can superpower you to death, so just be very careful. I forgot to mention, just because the bulk rating is also affected by Excadrill. Excadrill and Yveltal both have very high attacks. So the good thing is you will win CMP against most things. Problem is, you're not going to survive a lot of hits. So just be very mindful of that. Excadrill does very well as a lead just because it's able to take down steel types. So you can take down steel types. It's also, Drill Run and Rock Slide is also a great combination. It's a great mon against things like Togekiss. You also give the Dragon Breath users a hard time. Be very mindful of Palkia though, just because Palkia's Aqua Tail will hurt a lot. However, you do resist Dragon Tail and Dragon Breath, so you can possibly still do very well. However, because Palkia gets to Aqua Tail in only 4 Dragon Tails, just be very careful in that matchup, which is why, as you see here, Palkia versus Excadrill is a kind of very iffy. Other than that, you'll safe switch into Mewtwo, and then Mewtwo will try to break as many shields as you can, or you focus blast through shields, hitting the Dialga and sending it to the underworld where it belongs, unless you've rated for it, and then you got the perfect, and then you're hoping yours lives, or you're close to legend, so that's your last match you need to make legend. Hopefully it's not the other way around, and you do well. But as you see here, Yveltal is a very, very powerful closer and does really well. So this team will give you a lot of dubs just because of the sheer amount of damage it does. Again, Yveltal, and Mewtwo, or not really Mewtwo, but Yveltal recently came out, so I wanted to give you a lot of different looks. So these 3 teams that I gave you are pretty powerful, and Excadrill is very accessible, so hopefully this team does help you out. In practice, it did really well because you could break shields, and it was really great against the Pokemon I mentioned. But again, just be careful about losing lead, because that's what can make Excadrill really tricky. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thankfully, nothing really changed for Master League. I'm gonna mess that up a lot, especially when I make my Open Master League video, but nothing really changed for Master League Classic. The last really big meta shift was Yveltal, and it really didn't shift it that much, to be honest with you, just because Yveltal gets checked by a lot of other combinations that were already present in Master League Classic. So, you know, it's like juggling, you know, when something new comes, you're like, hi, can I join you? Can I eat at the lunch table? And you're like, hell nah, dude. Sorry, we don't like you. Or rather, yeah, kind of don't like you, especially Dialga, because Focus Blast, like I mentioned, does one-shot Melmetal, and Dialga, pretty much, yeah, it really does. So, even though, especially since Focus Blast did get its original attack value back, there was no reason to debuff it, because in most scenarios, Focus Blast would kill anyways. So, if you want the technical analysis on that one, Focus Blast was nerfed by 10 points of damage. That didn't really matter too much, because it does so much damage anyways, and most of the time, you will kill whatever gets hit by it. So, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna put it back. It didn't need to be nerfed in the first place. You might want to keep Flash Cannon down, though, because if you don't, Registeel going Registeel. That's all I have to say. We will have evil trash cans running around everywhere trying to take over the world. It's going to be like iRobot. If you've watched that movie, it's a great freaking movie. Will Smith is such a great actor. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope these teams do help you out. Yes, Triple Dragon Tail works, and it's still going to work just because of the fact the game is so broken right now. Also, there is it seems like fast move mechanics really kind of changed a bit. Well, they change all the time. They're never set in stone, which is a huge problem, especially if you're so used to it. You shouldn't have, I don't really think you guys should have to adapt to fast moves or mechanics changing. No one should have to, just because it has such a drastic effect on the way you play, how you subconsciously play. The good thing is if you do have adapted to it, basically what you can't do is that you can't time your charge moves to where they won't get extra fast moves through. That was always a flaw in the system to begin with. That was never supposed to happen. The thing is, just because for some odd reason in the system, when you would tap half a second before charge move shit hits and then on the same one, it's just that action would never register. Now that it is registering, you cannot confidently or accurately, you really have to count your turns in order to get fast moves through, which is why if you've played the Talonflame mirror a lot in Open Ultra League, usually what would happen is if you fire an Incinerate, you can get one through if they fire first. Sadly, that's not dependable anymore, so you're really going to have to depend whether they lag or if the system does allow you to do it. Anyways, that's just a little tidbit from my observation, so hopefully that piece does help you out. Getting fast move through charge moves is very difficult right now. Again, I hope that knowledge does help you out. Anyways, good luck on your Go Battle League sets. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. It's totally free, and you can easily sub by putting your mouse on the bottom right. It will pop a sub tab, and you can easily sub from there. For my current subscribers, I really do appreciate y'all. Again, good luck in your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you on the next video.
Ciao!